This is Retirement Garage. Did the ACA subsidies from 2021 on help you in your decision to retire early? It's a great question. And if you're a new subscriber to Buzz's Retirement Garage, we don't talk politics here. We skim the edges, but we don't get into anything left or right, not even the middle most of the time, for lots of good reasons, right? And one of the complaints I had was I don't get to the point quick enough. So up in your upper right or possibly your lower right, there is what I call a widget. It's a little, it looks like a sprocket. If you click on that sprocket, if you didn't know this, if you click on that sprocket, you can have your playback speed go to 1.5, 2, 2.5, something like that. And then you'll hear me talking like this. So if you're into that, go for it. Because maybe I do take a while to get to my point. But no, I retired in 2024. Or 2023, at the end of 2023, and I took ACA in 2024. And I thought to myself, like I said, with all this hoopla, pre-2021, when the ACA subsidies were expanded or increased, would I have still retired in 2024 if I had to pay the pre-2021 costs of my health insurance? So I ran some numbers through, just for the heck of it, I ran some numbers through ChatGPT. And for me, I was paying $88 a month. I was getting a subsidy of $818. This was in 2024. I turned 65 in 2025 January. So I got covered on Medicare. You know, this whole year I've been covered on Medicare. And so, I got to thinking, well, what if, run those scenarios, and would the cost have been too high that when I retired in September of 2023, would that have stopped me? Because remember, with the ACA, you do have an increased premium or deduction in premium if you did it after 2021. But the one thing about the ACA, they don't look at your bank accounts. You remember filling out FAFSA forms, the FASA FAFSA forms? I'm sure a bunch of you out there know what I'm talking about. They wanted to know how much money was in the piggy bank on your kid's dresser. They wanted you to open it up and count the pennies, nickels, and dimes. That's how stringent they were. With the ACA, a lot of people, I should say some people, I think retired because the ACA it raised past 2021, it raised the amount that you would get in subsidies, and they didn't look into your bank account. So you could have $1 million sitting in your bank account and you would still get the government subsidy. So I think some people retired who may have been on the cusp of saying, hey, do I retire or not, decided to go ahead and do it because the ACA subsidy was good. It was a deal. And some people retired early because of that. So I looked at my situation and I thought, oh, how about Buzz? What about him? Like before and after. So like I said, I ran it through ChatGPT, not to say ChatGPT is accurate or, something that you should always take in any information you get and run it through a couple different sources, of course. We're old enough to know that, right? Anyway, I was paying $88 a month. And so I ran it through Chat, and it was based off of $45,000 of income. So the ACA will look at, if you have a spouse, will look at the spouse's income. So in our case, we just put in $45,000, which was basically our Social Security, and maybe a little YouTube income, but $45,000, let's use that number. So ChatGPT said that was for two people, 220% of the federal poverty level. And under the ACA expansion in 2021, you were capped 2 to 6% of your income back then. So using a 3.3% average, and this is words coming from Chat, That was $124. So they were pretty close. I was paying 88, depending on the plan, and they thought I should be paying around 124. So pretty close. So let's run the numbers now for pre-2021. What would it have been? And at that time, it would have been a 6.5 to 7.5% cap on my income of $45,000, which would have been $263 a month. So $263 versus $124. Is that a big enough difference that I would have looked at that before I retired and said, maybe I should go another year until I get to 65? Is that enough that would have changed my mind? I don't have an answer to that because I just don't know. Doing the math that I did before I retired, would that increase? It's $3,000 a year. Would that have changed how I thought about it? And I'm not sure. It's possible that I may have tried to find another job to get me to January of 2025. It's very possible, but I can't say for sure. But I thought it was interesting. To put the numbers together. Now, those were pre-2021 numbers. Now, of course, costs have continued to increase. And again, we won't get into the political side of that, but the costs have continued to increase, so I don't know. But there's Julie at Happy on Monday. She is on the ACA, among some other channels that are on the ACA, and I think she just looked at hers and did a video on it. I haven't watched her whole full video and digested it, but if you get a chance and you're curious of what today's prices are, check with Julie at Happy on Monday. Anyway, I just thought this was interesting. Would it have changed my mind? So the question to you is, did it help you to retire early because of the expanded subsidies? It's a great question, and I'd like to hear your answers. Buzz's Retirement Garage, take care.